Hey everyone, Zach Tucker out here at Oak Grove High School getting you ready for our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week presented by My 48. This week it's Ledford at Oak Grove. It's time to go inside the headset with both coaches. Joining us now is the lead man for the Grizzlies, Coach Creason. And Coach, your team is off to a 6-1 start this season. Just tell me about how we got to this point.
We've had a good year so far. We've started off with some tough opponents, and with that one loss being West Forsyth, a good team in the 4A rank, and since then just kind of building our confidence in what we're doing, building confidence in our scheme, and getting better each week, and hopefully that continues.
Yeah, and going off of that, your team's on a nice little winning streak here as of late. How does that kind of affect the psyche of a team?
I think it just builds the confidence, helps you execute better, and it gives them kind of stake in what we're doing. They see that the work that we're doing and the things that we're doing towards our offense and defense, that it's coming to fruition, and that they feel good about it. And so our players are buying in more and more each week, and I think that just develops confidence, which often leads to great plays on either side of the ball. So.
Yeah, now we did have Oak Grove featured on one of our FR&R games earlier this year against West Forsyth, so we're already a little bit familiar with your team, but maybe who's a player or two that's really stood out up to this point?
It's tough doing that. There's a lot of guys that have done a lot of really good things. Obviously, if you have to pick a couple, senior guys that have taken a lot of steps are Carson Williams, obviously our running back. He's a special player. He's done a lot of things. I think he's got 13 or 14 touchdowns right now, and close to 700 yards rushing. And then you look at guys like Bradley Bird on the defensive side of the ball. He's a returning conference player of the year, and he's continued to improve each week. And obviously, when you look at us, you're going to see Ben Bulware walking around. I mean, he's a gigantic kid that's played really hard and gotten a lot better over the course of the year. So. But again, I could name a bunch of them, but those are just a few that come to the top of my head.
Yeah, now we've got a big-time matchup here on Friday night against your rival, Ledford. Tell me a little bit about the Panthers.
It's a well-coached team. Obviously, Coach Dobie does a really good job with those guys, and they're not like your normal Ledford team. Your normal Ledford team is typically going to run the ball and establish run. This team wants to get it out on the edge and get it to some playmakers out in space, and so you got to prepare a little different for those guys. And then defensively, with Coach Dobie behind the helmet there, he's always going to kind of get those guys in the right place. So obviously it's a rivalry game, so we've got to be up to the challenge and match their motion, and I think it'll be a good game.
Going off of that, it's almost like a backyard brawl with this being a rivalry game because the schools are so close to each other. We've had this game feature on the FNR for the last couple of seasons. What is it that makes this rivalry so special?
I think it's just the community itself. Obviously, Oak Grove, if you know anything about Oak Grove, it comes from Ledford, it comes from North Davidson. Our communities was built off of those two communities, and those are two really tradition-rich communities. So obviously I think that's part of it. Some of our parents went to Ledford, and a lot of our kids grew up with kids from Ledford, and so I think it's just the tight-knit bonding of this area that leads to such a good rivalry. But obviously, and then you've had some really good games since 2017. So I think it's a really good rivalry. I think it's fun, and I just like being a part of it.
It might be hard to see it now because the stadium is empty as we speak here on the field, but we're going to have a bunch of TV cameras. As you mentioned, those schools will most likely be well represented here on Friday night. Mm-hmm. How big of an opportunity is this for Oak Grove to have all the TV cameras and to have that extra exposure? We love bringing eyes to the community. We love bringing eyes to our team. Obviously, you're starting to get to the point where people know who we are, but at the end of the day, we're still a new school, and we still want to bring attention to what we're doing here because we feel like we're doing things the right way. And it's just a great way to showcase our kids and our community, and I think games like these are great because you get to showcase not only us, but you get to showcase the whole Davidson County area with us and Ledford. And then I know that we've had in the past with other schools on here, but it's a really good way to showcase our area for sure. Yeah, now football, of course, is a great game, and there's been a lot of different great games in all the different levels of the sport, but it's also been featured in movies as well. And you could say that we're helping to put this game on the big screen. So I've got to ask you, Coach, what is your favorite football movie?
I would probably say Remember the Titans. For a long time, that was the only movie they showed in
in school, so I got to the point where I could quote it. So that I would say, Remember the Titans. Obviously, there's some other ones in there. The Replacements is a good one. Waterboy's always fun, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Remember the Titans.
Yeah, now this is your second season at the helm here at Oak Grove, and I want to give the community a chance to get to know you a little bit better, so I want you to finish this sentence. If I were not the head football coach at Oak Grove, I would be blank.
Owning a restaurant. I'm a big barbecue guy. I like to cook. If you have me on Instagram, you'll see that I'm a foodie. So if you ever see me, you probably can tell I'm a foodie. So yeah, probably something in the restaurant world, I would imagine.
Yeah, with it being the fall time of the year, going into winter here before too long, are you a big tailgater?
Yeah, I have said that, or I've been told that I bring a lot to the table when it comes to tailgating. A big guy on the grill.
Awesome. Well, we'll probably have to put you to the test one of these days with that. But what's your final message to all the Grizzlies fans out there before kickoff on Friday?
Just come out. It's homecoming. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be electric. The theme is blackout, so hopefully the stands are full of black, and we'll be here excited, ready to play, and hopefully we put on a good show for you guys. But come out and support these guys because they do a lot of work. So and we feed off that energy, myself included. So there's a buzz about the game. So let's kick it off and let's get going.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Coach Creason. I appreciate it, and good luck on Friday and the rest of the way of the season.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. Let's send it over to Ledford. All right. Well, we are now out here at Ledford High School, and joining us now is the head man for the Panthers, Coach Dobie. And Coach, Panthers are 3-4 in the season so far. Just kind of fill me in about how we got to this point.
Well, we started off a little bit slow this season. Had a tough game at 4A Glen. Had some turnovers, cost us really at the end of the first half, and then a couple in the second half. It put us in a bad situation. Then went down to a rival school, West Davidson, and we didn't come to play, and they did. So we started off 0-2, but the guys kind of rebounded. We got a young squad this year, and we were able to put together a 3-game winning streak with Wheatmore, East Davidson, and Providence Grove, where we really played a lot better. Unfortunately, we seemed like we were a team of streaks, and now we're on a 2-game losing streak to start the conference. So we're kind of in a hole. We've dug ourselves a hole like we've done the last 2 games. So we've got to find ways to get better and come out of the block faster.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about some of the key playmakers on your team this year.
Well, the offense has played quite a bit better of the recent times, and Cason Phillips is having a really good season behind at the quarterback position. Through these last 4 games, he's got a 110 passer rating. We have had some turnovers. The defense has not been taking the ball away. We've given up a lot of points. Some of the guys that are standout leaders for the defense would be Mason Scott at defensive end. He's playing very well. Noah Palmer at linebacker. He flies around. He's in a position he hasn't played before, but he's making plays and striking people. Offensively, Markel Marshall, who's was our leading rusher, he's unfortunately missed. He's got a concussion. He's going to miss this game just like we had last year. He's got an injury, but Dalen McClendon's run the ball well for us. So is Varner. Offensive line has been very productive of the recent past, and Seth Wiley's playing really good at wide receiver. Adam Greer's playing really good at wide receiver. Talon Beam. We've got some guys that are playing. We're just playing in spurts. We've got to be more consistent and play together the entire game each and every week.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, your team is a little bit younger compared to seasons in the past. Earlier this season, you guys were on a 3-game winning streak. How big is a streak like that for a younger team to kind of build upon?
Well, it adds, the old saying is, if you've got Mo on your side, things are going well, but once momentum gets off your side, it's tough to get it back, and especially with a young group of players. When I say young, I mean we're young, but we're really young, inexperienced on Friday night. That's, all the guys have played. We don't have any first-year players per se, but they just haven't played on Friday night under what I call the big lights. So it's been a change. Obviously, if you step up from middle school to junior varsity, there's a change in the pace of play. From junior varsity to varsity, there's a change in the pace of play. So we're still adjusting to that, and hopefully we'll get there soon.
Yeah, big time matchup this Friday against your rival Oak Grove. Tell me a little bit about the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies, very tough team. Great running attack. They're balanced. They run the option. It's going to really test us to be playing defensive responsibilities. We got to get off the ball and strike them because they're definitely going to strike us. Their fronts, both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive, they look very solid. We're going to have a big time challenge keeping up with them. They're a really good team, and we just hope that we can stay in the game and give ourselves a chance in the fourth quarter.
You could say that this rivalry is a little bit like a backyard brawl because Ledford and Oak Grove are just so close to each other. What is it about this game that is just so special?
Well, I think it is. I think the proximity makes it really important because we're right around the corner from each other. These two communities have known each other forever. Before the school was built, they took actually part of us and North Davidson to create the Oak Grove High School community, and so everybody knows each other. There's a lot of talent in these areas, and since the beginning, we've had really close games. It's been very competitive, and I think that makes it fun. It's a backyard brawl because when you get out there, you know that you got to play your best to get a victory.
Just knowing that this game is going to be on TV across the Piedmont Triad on My48, we're also going to have it on our website, our YouTube channel as well. How big of an opportunity is this for Ledford?
Well, it's always great. We appreciate everything that you guys do at ABC and also Friday Night Rivals, what they do to support high school football and high school education really in our area. It's just fantastic for the kids. They get exposure. Maybe they've got aunts or uncles or grandmothers and grandfathers who really can't get out to the ball games, and this gives them a chance to see their family play. So it's really great, and it's just really fun to do.
Yeah, and Ledford's still looking for their first conference win of the season. What would it mean to get that first win against Oak Grove?
It'd be huge for us. I mean, they'd put us right back in the situation where we think that we could compete for a conference spot. Usually, unfortunately, we're not in the situation we've been in. We've been undefeated in conference going into these games for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and we're not there yet. So we've got to fight and claw and get ourselves a victory, and it'd be great on Friday night.
Now you could say with all the TV cameras that will be at the game that we're putting you guys on the big screen. So I've got to ask you, Coach, what is your favorite football movie?
Oh, my favorite football movie? Believe it or not, it's hard to not go with Remember the Titans. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty popular answer with the coaches that we've asked. Is there any particular character or scene from that movie that really stands out to you?
Well, I like the fact that we got to see Coach Boone back in the day because he was a disciplined coach. And when I mean discipline, he wasn't mean and nasty. He was just disciplined. And we try to preach that around here. Seems to me it gets harder and harder every year to be disciplined with the students and the players. It's just different now, and I was raised that way, and I feel like the discipline approach works, and so that really is interesting to me. I like watching that and seeing how it was back in the day.
Now, Coach Doby, you've been the head coach here at Ledford for a number of years now, but I want to give the community a chance to learn a little bit more about you. So I want you to finish the sentence. If I were not the head coach here at Ledford, I would be blank.
If I were not the head coach at Ledford, I would probably be making donuts at Krispy Kreme.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a joke. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did spend 6 or 7 years in the NASCAR world, working with Kel Yarborough Motorsports.
Oh.
Yeah, so I did some sports marketing, so I'd probably be there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, what's your final message to all the Panthers fans out there before kickoff on Friday?
Well, just come out and give us all the support we can get. We've got to go over there. I think it's homecoming for the Grizzlies, so we'd like to see all the Ledford fans out there, and it always is important for us to have a good following, and our crowd really does a good job for us.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Coach Doby.
Appreciate
I appreciate it. And for all the Inside the Headset content, subscribe to the ABC 45 YouTube channel.